Okay, so it says that I'm live. Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. It is currently 1:37 p.m. going on 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and today is Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. So as of right now, it is 222 with the portal. Really quickly, you guys, I'm not too big when it comes to Western astrology or just astrology in general. Like, I know my sun and zodiac, Earth and sun and zodiac. I know my sun, moon, and rising. Like, I'm not too big on my zodiac. So if you guys know about this day, if you want to suggest and advise any tips, you can. But me personally, when it comes to manifestations, I don't really like that word because manifestation is more than you know, wanting something. Is action, it's the emotion, it's the thought, it's the effort and the energy. So like all I'm gonna suggest and advise as you guys come on today's date is to do what works for you, live your life, and do what you can. So today is Tuesday, the 22nd, 22222. And good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. My name is Ty Bold, aka Talks with Ty. And here on this channel, I promote myself as a spiritual healer, intuitive um, leader, motivational teacher, or a life coach. I am a spiritual being who possesses a soul, which is the flesh and the blood inside of a human body, because I'm a part of a species equally, collectively on earth. So, with that being said, on my channel, I suggest and advise information, what has helped me along my journey. I also speak from a place of wisdom. So the goods and the bads, pros and cons, experience from backgrounds, from geographic locations, from resources, whether it's financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually, interactions and encounters I've had every single day up until the first 25 years of my life, because I'm 25, as well as, what has helped me along my journey, some do's and some don'ts, pros and cons, like I've stated previously, as well as experience I get for myself. So, who, what, when, where, and why, understanding how I feel, knowing that, just because I feel some type of way and I may not understand it doesn't mean that it's not valid or to be invalidated, and allowing myself to understand me, doing things that work best for me and for the collective. So, me suggesting and advising information, I use natural resources like a dictionary or thesaurus or the internet, books, magazines, any form of information that could be educational and informative to the collective that's actually beneficial. Like the reason why I suggest and advise information and I don't I don't tell people what to do or how to feel on my channel is because one, you can't tell someone what to do or how to feel. Just because you tell somebody something doesn't mean they're gonna listen, doesn't mean they're gonna acknowledge, doesn't mean they're gonna be able to resonate or understand. And what I want to, suggest and advise is accepting that everyone on this earth is not supposed to be the same. Everybody, the reason why you're born the way that you are specifically, strategically, is for a reason. And realizing, what it is necessarily and who you want to be in this lifetime, and allowing, your emotions to be controlled, allowing your thoughts to, be projected with love, and having your heart be filled with nothing but joy and excitement and just being grateful for being alive. So, with that being said, on this channel, once again, we don't tell people what to do, nor do we tell people how to feel. So, I'm not going to stay on here too long because I have a lot. I have our a calendar. This is a planner, not a calendar. I have a new calendar that I need to go ahead and put up, as you guys can see. So I have a calendar as well as a planner that I need to go ahead and put up, and as well as the hand dandy notebook for those of you returning. So if this is your first time here, thank you so much for joining. Make sure you guys are following me on my Instagram and my Twitter at Ty_guidance. And if you are returning, thank you so much for having your notifications on and subscribing by, like I said, sharing these videos, leaving a like if you like it, leaving a dislike if you are able, to lack something, or if you weren't able to learn something, or if you have any information that you want me to suggest and advise, or something that I can learn from. So being a teachable person. So on this channel, because I'm suggesting and advising information, I know that I don't know everything. As a human being, I feel as though as human beings, we come here to experience the human life in these vessels, and we're supposed to take care of our physical health, inside and out, as well as our spiritual existence, which is our spirit inside of our soul. So, not the flesh and ego. Our flesh and ego is our soul. So, our minds and our emotions, which we do not, necessarily always have the best interest with or understand. So taking the time to just be grateful, learning from what you've gone through, understanding the past, the present, and the future, understanding, certain environments, certain information that you lack, and knowing that because there's no right or wrong way to live your life and there's only one you, doing things on your time and at the flow and the speed that you feel as though. Like what I want to suggest and advise, and what I'm going to talk about really quickly in this video for the collective and for those of you who are just joining by is to worry about yourself. Like in the next couple months, you guys, my actions, like any other time, I always tell you guys to use your discernment, will show within time. Not just because I'm talking about it, but because when you say what you do, you don't have to talk about it. You just take the action. And when it comes to healing, you want to acknowledge, you want to accept, you want to adapt so you can take action. And when it comes to being yourself, like a lot of people go out their way because in the world it's easier to distract people, it's easier to divide people and influence people. People go out their way to be everything but their natural self. And everybody in my eyes, because once again, life is a projection and the reflection, meaning if you don't like something about somebody, is because how you feel internally. And that's all it is projection and perspective. Like everyone to me has the opportunity to be someone if you're able to be born. You don't know how long you're going to be on this earth. That's another reason why you don't compare. And I suggest and advise not to compare yourself and to not worry about anybody this year. Like this year specifically, strategically, even at me ending off this month, like January and February compared to how I was posting all last year and the year before that, because I've had my channel for almost 2, 3 years for anyone who's joining, realizing, certain decisions that I made, how it affected me, and realizing the environments, the people around me, the people that I used to know, like what I want to do. And in order to get through all of these you know, steps, trials, and tribulations, you have to take each day for what it is. You have to accept that certain things happened in your past that you didn't have control over, that you didn't have the knowledge over, that you didn't have guidance over. To accept the present moment as of today, to realize that you're not where you want to be. You have bad days, you have good days. So tomorrow, or years from now, or months from now, when you're ready to move forward or you heal, you'll be able to thank yourself. So aligning yourself and taking your time, like there's no right or wrong way to do that. So me personally, that's all I'm going to say. I'm gonna make this video maybe like 15 minutes. So if anybody joins within the next couple of minutes, I will stay longer. But I just wanted to just let you guys know that the focus, I just realized I lost my earring, you guys. The focus is on ourselves. You don't have to worry, like Queen Aja said, and I sang that song yesterday, Karma. You don't have to worry about me. You made it clear that you're unhappy, so go ahead and have your fun now. Like, don't worry about people that are no longer in your life. If people are meant to be in your life, if people want to do the right things, including with yourself, if you're not where you need to be, then it's not the time or the moment or the environment. And realizing that the more focused you are with yourself and what you actually want, the more likely it is you're able to be grateful for what you have, what you learned through, so you can accept what it is in the moment to receive what it is that you want later in life. And in order to do that, once again, we're practicing here, we're healing. We know that healing is a process. There's no right or wrong way to do so. So that's why I suggest and advise information. I speak what has helped me along my journey. I speak for my genuine subscribers who have gone through PTSD, suffering, anxiety, depression, ADHD, because everybody on this earth equally has suffered. Some people suffer more than others because it depends on their resources, it depends on their privilege, it depends on their status. Like so many people are content with label and attachment, and it's scary me. That's another reason why I'm here, you guys. Enough is enough. A lot of things are going to be happening because one thing I've realized, racism has never ended, you guys. And the reason why it's so much going on with anybody of minority or color is because we're the original people. But we, as being original people, we don't care about race. It's only the group of people who created race, to feel superior, to have this control and power. And when you put out energy that's wicked, chaotic, you're going to get that in return. And that's why we've been, for years now, fighting and getting to this point. It wasn't until 1970s, 1990s, 1980s, like the millennials and Gen Z. I'm Gen Z. We are up to help save the world. If we're gonna have a change, if we really, want to make things happen, we have to be a voice. And me personally, I'm creating this platform not only for myself and my subscribers to have a voice, but just people in general. Like we idolize, or certain people, not me necessarily because they're regular people, but we are so content with entertainers than we are with the people who are historical figures, people who want justice for the world, people who do for us. And it's not to discourage entertainers because the entertainer's supposed to entertain, but not being so, content with focusing on entertainers and others that you're not able to live your life, or you feel, that what you want is not possible, or just doubting yourself. Like the same people who don't want you to do well are the same people who try to control you. And this is why it's so important to heal yourself, understand yourself, not be so hard on yourself, not to compare yourself, and be mindful of what you, spend your time and energy with, whether it's shows, music, your company, your environment. Like this year, you guys, all I can say is that I'm ready. I've been ready. And I just need to keep going. And that there's no right or wrong way to do so. Like there's no rush. Like people, like I see people rush all the time when they drive, like on the highway, for example. Me personally, I drive the exact speed limit only because I've been in too many car accidents, and I care about the car that I own and the next car that I plan on purchasing. If you own a car, like you want your car to last. A lot of people never own or had responsibility, so they don't realize until the car is ran down or stopped working, and it takes 3 or 4. Like, take care of what you have because the physical material items are temporary and they're not yours. Like, this world is so content. And it makes sense because we live in a physical, meaning anybody who has sight is able to see this, the sun and the sky and physical material items, but it doesn't mean that it is all and everything. Like people in America are depressed because they feel like they don't have a Lamborghini. They don't feel like they have certain items, knowing that they have breath. Like that is the most important thing. There are so many people that are dying right now as I speak, transitioning, that died yesterday, that are not going to be able to see their life. There's so many people, and a lot of people don't think about stuff like that because they're too worried about not having a jet ski working. And it's not to say in life that you can't live your life how you want to, and people do, but everyone in life does not have the same resources. Everyone does not have the same tools, especially anybody of color. We struggle because all of that was taken away from us, like in the Bible. And I'm going to start talking about this stuff now because it really amazes me. And I say this, with love and concern because I don't judge anybody. How I look at it, God is a word, it's a title, like Yahweh, Allah, Buddha, Jesus. One thing I will say though, that if you read the Christianity Bible that was written by the same group of white people who wrote our history, which is not true about the world, and then being the first group of people here, they let you know the Hebrew Israelites, which are the original people. And if you go and do your research, the original people were first Black women that were in Africa. So in the Bible, it's narrating it, and you have a lot of people in Christianity and who are Christians. And I'm not coming for you, Christians. I'm not knocking you guys because it's just lack of knowledge. You're reading from a different perspective. Like you're reading from a narrator. Like every single day I see people who try to judge. And this is the only reason why I'm saying this because I believe in God. I don't believe in a religion. Like higher being is a higher being. And like specifically, with the facts in history, like I'm going off of my background. So once again, just because I know my history, like my dad's bloodline is actually like from Israel, and my mom's family is native, like feather American. I know my history, and it's not to knock other people's history, but it's just like the projections and the illusions. Like all of this in the world is so chaotic because of money and material items. Like my people, anybody, and when I mean my mind, I'm talking about brown melanated people. We lived naturally already in the woods. We are part of this earth already. If you take away people, you guys, you just have animals, you have dirt, you have water, land, and fire. You take away animals, you just have water and land. Like, and it's not to judge people because on this channel, I'm not here to force anybody to believe what I believe in or to necessarily think the way that I think or know what I know, but you gotta start questioning yourself. Like you look outside and you look at the clouds and you don't even realize that clouds are spinning. We've been so conditioned in our energy to be at a so low frequency of being in fear and being controlled and programmed that it's hard for people to understand that it says in the Christian Bible that was written to divide and distract because there's so many other religions, and that's the reason. Like God is God at the end of the day. That's all I'm gonna say. So if you believe in a God, God is God. Your God is gonna be your God at the end of the day. It is what it is. Prayer, that's what I will say is working. Because at the end of the day, how I look at life, like my God, she doesn't sit here and judge because race doesn't exist. Race has been taught. It wasn't until, like I said, the millennials, 1970s, 1980s, where their first group of people had integration. And that's what a lot of people fail to realize. Like we as Black people are still struggling. We as minorities are still struggling while you have these group of people, once again, the Caucasian people, Caucasian men, because that's what patriarchy is, who control the world and say how they feel because they've been projected, because they've always been the weakest link. They've never had the strength or the melanin or the tools. And instead of them being honest, they paint this narrative and confuse and, get everyone all worked up. But me, I personally, I've been in jail for being racially profiled before at the age of 21. And that was the first time I ever been in jail and being racially profiled. And once again, I'm talking from all experience. And the information I speak comes with facts. I don't just speak from my opinion because, I mean, just like everybody else in the world, they're like assholes. Everyone is going to have something to say. It's one thing to suggest and advise information, but it's one thing to give your opinion. Like, at least if I'm going to suggest and advise information, it's information that you could look up and back check. And it's not about me proving a point or her always feeling the need to think that I know everything or that I have to always be right. I only know what I know. And like, because this is not my first nor last time here existing and realizing that I know my purpose. This is why I'm here. I'm here to help those who choose to raise their consciousness, who choose to move forward and to look past and to realize that people are people at the end of the day, whether you're Black or white. Now, of course, we use these words because we created them. That's why I tell you guys all the time. Like last year, I would read words from the dictionary. You got people now all of a sudden reading words like it doesn't matter. Every single word from the dictionary was written. A through Z, that's what letters are. The letters create the words. The words create the definition. Definitions are synthesis. The sounds come from us. We as people create everything. If it's not spiritual, physical, or material, that's all that it is. And like this year, you guys, enough is enough. 25, I'm 25, I'm back. I really let myself go. I've gone through a lot of things in life. And that's another thing. The world is so wicked and chaotic. It's like you can't even express yourself. You can't feel vulnerable. People try to use information against you. People try to copy you. Like people are so lost that they go out their way to change how they physically look, to look like something that they're not. That's like people go out their way to chase physical and material wealth, physical material items, and feel like they still need more because you don't realize the most important thing that you need is your existence, and that's your spirit, healing yourself, doing the shadow work. I did a lot of shadow work. I had a lot of situations, trials and tribulations where I've been exposed to trauma and suffering in my life where I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to be afraid to not talk about it. Of course, obviously, what's done in the dark comes to light, but the past is the past. I've healed myself. I've accepted those things. I can't go back in time. It's a lot of things, like I'm pretty sure a lot of people in life have gone through, but it's all about choosing. Like earlier today, I went to the courthouse because I have some, behind the scenes paperwork that I have to go through, and just going inside there, paying attention to people. Like, if you don't like yourself, work on yourself. If you're not going to sit here and work on yourself, don't sit here and project onto other people. Like, I'm tired of people trying to project. I've been, in the past when I was younger growing up, I never realized that people were projecting. I would just, keep my mouth shut. I wouldn't say nothing. If I did speak, I would pull people aside. Ever since I graduated high school, of course, you get older, you get more comfortable with yourself, you get this confidence because I didn't always have it. Like I never had a problem with people like in school all my entire life. Like I've always been social, or like I've been introverted, but I've been social like when I felt comfortable around you. But I never had like a specific group of friends. Like I've always had and been friends and associate myself with any and everybody. And as I get older, I've realized that people can only feel how and what they know. people are only exposed to certain environments, resources. So like some people never left the state, the city, the town that they live in. So they don't know what's more to life. And that's the same thing when it comes to people being privileged, people being middle class, people being lower class. If you've never been all three or been exposed or understand, you're not going to know something until it happens to you. That's why a lot of people are so quick to speak about, oh, I wouldn't do this or how I would handle situations until they're put in that situation and their result is different. And that's the same thing when it comes to healing. Like necessarily me as a brown woman, me being the strongest group of women, of people to exist on this planet, I'm aware of my powers. I'm aware of my strength. Like I'm not intimidating. You're intimidated. And once again, for my channel, it's for those who choose to move forward. But like I'm not tolerating any BS. This is a platform that I created as a safe place. I'm not worried about what people have to say or do because once again, I know who I serve, I know why I'm here. And I didn't sit here and lie and project insecurities and write, Christopher Columbus discovered America. No, he did not. No, he did not. Oh, black people were slaves, and that's because we were very wealthy, very abundant. We taught these group of people how to do certain things. They took it away and they slaughtered us and they massacred us. Like our massacre wasn't documented. The genocide wasn't documented. And then the same thing, you read the Christian Bible, and that's the scariest part to me. Blonde hair, blue eyes. Jesus is not white. He's not a white man. He's not. He's not. And that's a fact. White people are the only group of people who projected that they were so superior onto everybody else. That's like the celebrities or the entertainers that they wanted them to take. Because if someone says, here, I could give you shiny cars and $50 million in this, and you don't realize that your spirit is way more important, your worth is way more valuable, you'll give and having to continue a certain cycle when it comes to life because life is about opportunity and experience. You only live for however long you're supposed to live for, and the choices you make are going to be determined based off of your environment, based off of your resources, what you know, what you don't know. So what I want to suggest and advise is starting to be accountable. Like I recently, it's not that I've never not been accountable for my actions, but like anytime I ever did something wrong, I was very honest. Like I used to just do stuff on purpose and with that not caring. So I would do something and not care about my consequence. And it wasn't until that I had a consequence, understand why I had a consequence. There are people who do things and they are aware of their consequence and they still choose to go. Like me saying that I don't care about a consequence because I'm lacking knowledge is me being ignorant. But to sit here and know what you do and know how you feel and not work on it, that is a choice, you guys. That's like being miserable. That's like being bitter. That's like healing yourself. It's a choice. It's like going to the gym. It's like working out. It is optional. Like nobody in this life is going to make you do anything. So you don't have to be a part of the working class. You do not have to have a business. You do not have to work for nobody. You can do whatever you want, but you have to be okay with that. Me being myself, that's all I'm doing in this life is just existing. I don't have to do anything more other than, inform and educate and be honest. And not just that, put out what I want to receive. Because karma is real. You are your karma, you are your actions. Why? Nobody on this earth gets away with nothing because nobody on this earth leaves here alive. And you go outside, there are no ceilings or walls in outer space, and that's where we live. That's the biggest, that's the biggest Big Bang theory. But that's all I'm gonna say in this video because I know that this year my videos are going to be turning heads, good or bad. I'm prepared. The cat's off the bag. I said what I said. I have, you know, my witness, of course, and me. I'm just a spirit. Holy Spirit, activate, activate, activate. I'm just a spirit possessing the soul inside of a human body. Like, I know that I'm pixie dust. I know I'm dirt and water. That's why your body's made of water and dirt. And when you sleep, your eyes are not closed, your eyelids closed. Nobody can close their eyes because our pupils are made up inside of our eyes, and that's why we have eyelids. That's like when people are asleep, their eyes be open. Like it's so much more to life, you guys, that a lot of people they don't want people to know. But that's guess what? I was sent here And I don't, like I said, I'm not gonna be for everybody. I'm only here for my subscribers, and that's my only focus in this life is to worry about the high collective or the people who choose to support themselves. Because if I heal myself supernaturally, spiritually, consciously, subconsciously, intuitively, emotionally, verbally, and then I just gotta heal financially, materially, and all that good stuff, so can anybody else. It's a choice though. And it's not to invalidate what you went through because, of course, we may not have gone through the same pain, but it's not to say that we don't feel. And that's why this year, eventually, I want to start, having lives where you guys interact, talk about certain things, and I counsel. I've been doing sessions, so make sure you guys follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter. Those are my only two social medias at Ty_guidance. I've been doing sessions, coachings one on one, and I want to do some counseling this year. But for right now, in the meantime, in between time, I just want to suggest and advise by practicing being in the present moment, being grateful, setting your day with intentions, drinking plenty of water, staying hydrated, and being safe and doing the best that you can and not stressing yourself out. If something is for you, you don't have to rush it. You just have to understand and take certain steps and do things in order to get to where you need to be so you can achieve what needs to be done and not be so hard on yourself. Like, you don't have to stress about that apartment, that car, that job if you're meant to work there. You have to align yourself because one thing I realized, you guys, it's about the energy. In order for you to receive what you want, you have to energetically align yourself. So if you physically want something and your spirit, feels good, but emotionally you're doubting yourself, you're blocking what it is that you want. And taking your time to do it and not being so hard on yourself or listening to society or feeling pressured if you're not doing anything because there's no book about life. Like, people are gonna do what they wanna do, and this is why, once again, I don't tell people what to do or how to feel. Now, of course, if you're not taking the time to understand me or myself, people that come towards my channel or come towards me, they're just gonna expose themselves. So don't pay them no mind, you guys. If I don't pay people no mind, y'all shouldn't pay people no mind. And I really, if I gotta put you on blast to the past, oh, I'ma talk because I'm talks with Ty. I got something to say, okay? And I'ma say it with my chest because I am getting older. And we don't have time for that. Like, live your best life. Ooh, y'all heard that? Live your best life. Do what works for you and be happy for yourself. Don't worry about what other people got to say and what other people are doing. Like, no. So first things first, you heal yourself, then you can learn to forgive others. You can reflect, you can grow, you can have days where you're working out emotionally, financially, abundantly. And then you can have days where you rest and you have days because when it comes to healing, it's a process. So like if you got cut or you're stabbed or you got a wound, and you're healing that stab, cut, or wound at one point in time, that means you were in pain. At one point in time, it was bleeding. At one point in time, your skin is being open. Anything can get inside of it. So you have to understand that if you have a wound and it has to heal, it's going to take time. It's going to have days where it feels scabby. It's going to have days where it hurts. It may be sore, but eventually, once you properly treat your wound and you heal it, it's healed. And it takes some time. And it's not to say that you can't get cut again later in life, but you have to be mindful of that. Like every decision you make. That's why me personally, I don't judge people, but I no longer surround myself with people who don't want to like at this point, if you're my age, 25 or older, like there are no excuses. Like people that are younger than me, those are the people I give the patience for and have excuses for. But it's like if you're young, you're older, excuse me, and you are knowing what you do and you know how you feel and you are prideful, you gonna have a long and a rude awakening. Like a lot of people are really in tune with their egos and are not able to get to where they need to be because they're in their flesh and not their spirit and knowing the difference. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Live your life. Stay tuned for further videos for the rest of this month, going into the rest of this year, as well as follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter at Ty_guidance. Once again, I do not have any other form of social media, keeping in mind that this information is all over the place, but that's what happens when you live your best life and you don't have nothing to hide, because when you have an image to maintain, you got to go through so much. I don't have nothing to hide. That's why I can come on here with courage and be brave, knowing that I was depressed, knowing that I was broke, knowing that I've been in jail, knowing that I've been homeless, knowing that I lost a parent, knowing that I was in a relationship that was toxic, knowing that I had a car one day, knowing that I had money one day, knowing like I don't care about nobody on this earth more than I care about myself and who I serve. because I didn't come here on this earth for anybody other than myself and those who choose to be a reflection of me, because that's all life is. Okay. So, with that being said, and as this year goes on, like I said, I am all about perspective, willing to be patient. And at the end of the day, you agree to disagree. You accept people if you want to accept them. If you choose not to, then you wish them well. You don't go out your way to get revenge. You don't go out your way to like do things that are not for you. People who have, different beliefs than me, I don't necessarily like how I said when I said this is my space, this is my platform. So if I want to say something, I can. If somebody wants to call me out and address it professionally for me and them to have the conversation, they can. But if I say something on my page, and let's just say somebody from another page says something, if it's not to me directly or for my position, like I'm not asked to be interviewed or to speak on certain things, I'm not clearing up what I said. I'm telling you all this because once again, my target audience, like the target audience that I have is not going to be everybody in the world because a lot of people are not honest with themselves. Like a lot of people will see you and be intimidated and project their insecurities. I don't need to have anybody around me who thinks they're about to project insecurities because I'm too old. I'm not even 40 or 50. I'm 25. I'm too old. If you're not communicating, you're not coming correct, you can go. And my block list, that's all I gotta do. You could get blocked. It doesn't matter if you're family, dog, boyfriend, girlfriend. I've already gone through too much and lost too much and done too much in my life to continue to make certain mistakes or certain, decisions. It's like enough is enough. And I'm only here for the people who want to move forward. So Eric Thomas, Sad Groove, if you guys don't know who they are, go ahead and check them out. They're life coaches, they're motivational speakers. They're not telling you what you want to hear. And I specifically more resonate with Eric Thomas because I can be very passionate. If people didn't care, they wouldn't speak or acknowledge or even say certain things that inform you. Like when I used to say stuff all the time that was educational to people, people took it as, oh, she thinks she knows everything, or you just always got to be right. Like, how do I always got to be right if I only know what I know? Like, just because you lack this knowledge and I know it doesn't mean that I'm any better or less than. You're the only person who feels less than me because I know this and you don't. Once again, a projection, and that's not my problem. None of my subscribers have to worry about people projecting because that's not our problem. We don't come here to live our life for other people, especially when people can't be true to themselves. It's so much easier, like I said, for people to go out their way to be everybody but themselves. Mhm. I'm good. I feel like it's really disrespectful to compare yourself to anyone. That's why I would never. My insecurities were because of myself. Like when I was 14, I've always been petite and skinny. When I was 14, my little thighs started to grow, whatever, and I got stretch marks. And around my bum area, I was insecure because I had stretch marks. And at the time, because I was ignorant, meaning I lacked knowledge, I didn't know that small people who or petite people could get stretch marks. My mom told me that my body grew. That's what a stretch mark is, and that's why it's so important to educate yourself. Like when you educate yourself, it's certain things that you're not going to do. Like when it comes to people, like if you don't have emotional intelligence, I'm not arguing with you. Like if you want to understand because you're confused, that's fine. I'll be patient. But if you are intentionally trying to go out your way, you got to know, you guys. You got to use your discernment. You got to know who's for you and who's not. And that's all I'm going to say in off this video because I'm gonna eat the rest of my food. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for further videos and make sure you subscribe. Until next time, you guys. Peace.